I was fortunate enough to grow up in a good environment with the parents that I had and the church background. So I think it was a lot easier for me, but to some of those boys who didn't have that opportunity to do that, obviously they need a bit of help, and the NRL has recognised that and help where they can.
Yeah, very similar to Christian in regards to I was lucky enough to have two very supportive parents that had been together for a long time. I understand now it's very common to find broken homes, a lot of divorces, which then can create all sorts of problems for the child's upbringing. I was very fortunate to have my parents around all the time that offered me not only guidance but good role models. I understand now, being an older player, that I'm a role model whether I like it or not. Being a male, I'm a role model. Like the Commissioner said earlier, being a man, whether you like it or not, you have your obligation is to be a role model and to protect females in the community. It's your job to be a man and make a choice and defend them, but also to for me, probably the frustrating point from my point of view at the moment in rugby league, and it's one that I think is a cultural problem and a society problem, is this whole Gen Y so-called group that lack respect. You have to respect your elders. You have to respect people that have been there and done it. You don't have to always agree with it. You don't have to like it. But you should understand that usually it comes from a good place. And I think that's where the drinking culture seems to have spiked in the last few years, especially since I first come into first grade in 2001, where when I had too much to drink, the senior players would pull me aside and say, "Mate, time for you to go home." Of course, that was met with, "Mate, I'm okay, like, let me have a couple more," but they stuck solid and said, "No, mate, we'll take you home." They'd put me in a cab. Sometimes they'd get in the cab with me, take me home, and then they'd go back out, that sort of thing. But now it's really a struggle sometimes to say, "Mate, you've had enough." And that's a respect thing, and that's where I think a lot goes back on the parent and the older brothers. If you don't have parents that are together, and you're the older brother in the family, then you take that responsibility of being a role model for your younger brother and sister.